Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us for meet and greet today. Good to see you all. How has your week been? AKD Sachs, let's start with you. How has your week been?
Yeah, fine, ma. We thank God, ma.
Okay, that's good. How is Ibadan?
Ibadan Sito.
That's good. That's
You can see that my smile is sweet.
Yes, I can hear it in your voice that Ibadan is sweet. It's happening. Dr. Ajibola, can you confirm that Ibadan is sweet? Is that true? What's happening?
That has always been sweet.
How has your week been?
Thank you.
Okay. You've been busy?
Yeah, really busy.
Sure. Ajayi Samuel, how are you? See you. How has your week been? Muted. Ajayi Samuel. Sinedum, can you unmute yourself? Tell us how your week has been, please. Good to see you. Hello, Sinedum Akiti. So who is going to, okay, you can't talk for us. Uncle Nee, how are you? How has your week been? Uncle Nee, I just said Adiogo. Our week has been phenomenal. Uncle Adeniyi, I just said Adiogo.
I am fine. I am good.
How has your week been, sir?
Lovely. Lovely. I can't complain.
That's good. That's good. Good to hear from you.
All right.
So who can guess who our mystery guest is today? Who can guess? Anybody want to take a guess who our mystery guest is?
Yes.
Ajayi Samuel, you want to guess? Who is our mystery guest today? You can unmute yourself. Ajayi Samuel, AKD Sachs wants to guess as well. AKD Sachs, you can unmute yourself and guess who our mystery guest is. Maybe you will get it right.
Okay. I'm on Monte already, so I just I must guess right.
Okay. Okay.
I've been praying. Say, tonight I must guess right too.
Okay.
Okay. Let me choose number 1, Mr. Ajibola Ogunlade. Ogunlade.
Yes.
Is it Ogunlade or Ogunlade? Sorry for that pronunciation. Okay, the second person. Everything.
There's only one person this night, but you have guessed right. So you are really on the mountain. You guessed right. You guessed right. Good job.
A bottle of Coke for me.
It's an achievement. Okay. So we will go right into The meeting for tonight, we have Dr. Ajibola Ogunlade, and he's our mystery guest for tonight. Like we are all aware how it goes, our mystery guests would introduce themselves to us first, and then we would ask them some questions. We'll put them on the hot seat, ask them some questions, and then we'll just learn from them. And I'm sure Dr. Ogunlade is ready to take all the questions and would keep the seats cool.
In fact, very ready. Very, very ready. I can see
you can see he's looking ready.
Yes, even with this mind.
Yes, he's looking very confident. Yeah. Okay. So over to you, Dr. Ogunlade. By the way, he was my classmate in medical school and is a good friend of mine as well. Means of introduction. That's my own introduction for him.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ajibola Ogunlade. For AKD size, I want to know the real pronunciation is Ogunlade. So, though most would like to call it Ogunlade, but it's Ogunlade. So, take note of that. I'm a third child from a polygamous family of 16. I have a lot of loot on my head, being a third child. So I had my primary and secondary school in Lagos, precisely on Jota in Lagos. So I journeyed to Ibadan for my university education. So like Kenny rightly said, we're classmates to study medicine and surgery. University of Ibadan. So, and for good 6-7 years, we were classmates. After that, went for service, came back, and then by profession, I'm a medical doctor. Precisely, I'm a general practitioner practicing in Ibadan. Precisely at Akakobo in Ibadan. I am married with 3 lovely children, 1 daughter and 2 boys. I am from Ogun State, from Yewa local government. They used to call it Egbado South, but now it's now Yewa South local government. And I'm from Ogun State, that very close to Juroku. That's what I want to say about myself. Yeah, I've been practicing medicine. I'm in private practice, like I said, and I've been doing that for the past, this should be my 8 years in private practice. That is my own. I own my own hospital, so at least I've been doing that for the last 8 years. Also, my side also have what we call a diagnosis center too. I think at least for now, my third member, at least for now. Those are things I can think of. I can at least just introduce myself to you. And I'm a Christian. Lest I forget that. I'm a Christian. Redeemer precisely. Redeemer precisely. And
that's awesome.
I think for now, and that's all I can say for now.
You have introduced yourself satisfactorily. It's good to hear from you tonight. Yes. I'm sure you're going to have some questions coming your way. Okay, thank you very much for that introduction. Do we have some hands up? Anybody that is ready to ask him questions? You can start raising your hands. Hope you heard his introduction. My question is, what was it like growing up as a third child in a polygamous home? What was that like?
Yeah, was actually was not funny, but at the same time, it was it really helped me, actually, because being a third child in the family, and the first child is a male, the second one is female, and I have the third male child. So it made me to assume every responsibility at early stage of my life. Three family, and when you have three wives, one eventually the first wife left pretty early, so left my mom and the third wife. So it was a big, very big family. So I took up responsibility as early as my primary school days, to look after my siblings. So that's for that. I would say it was a plus for me because I took that responsibility to all of my heart as early as I learned how to cook very early.
And he's a very good cook for those that don't know.
Very early. So
Mm.
very early. So that really helped me.
Okay. Yeah. And what is your message to those who are considering having more than one wife?
Say no. It's a no. It was not fun. It's not fun. Especially from a polygamous family, it's not fun. And then when all of you are in the same roof, that's rivalry, bitterness. When we were growing up, we the children, we try to flow along very well. But as we got older, it becomes everybody to his family, everybody to his mother. So it's not something that I really encourage anyone to to want to think of, not to talk of want to do. So it was it's not an experience, and I really wish I wish for my enemy, not to talk of myself.
So that is one question. Second question is, why did you choose private practice? Why?
Yeah, actually, private practice was like let me say, my plan. Private practice was not something I really wanted to do. After I had my primaries in pediatrics, I also had in family medicine. And for years, I was just trying to get into residency. It was not forthcoming. I just kept on trying. I traveled the length and breadth of Nigeria to get a residency placement. Even at the point, I got to board a meeting, board interview like twice. And then they scattered the whole thing. So at that point, I just thought, oh, wow, I've been on this for like almost, let me say, at least this should be our 16 or 17 post graduation, I guess. Yeah, I think 16 years. So for like good 8 years, I was trying to say, let me get. So it was my last place of where I was working. Then he saw, when he saw me, he was like, he employed me, and the way I ran the hospital for him while he was away, when he came back, he was so impressed, and he just said, Dr. Ogunlade, what are you thinking? Are you still bent on doing this residence? I said, I'll keep on trying. The guy said he gave me 2 years. If after 2 years, nothing is for showing, I should just move on. It was at that point I thought of it. Okay, it's true. If I can run somebody hospital like this, correct together, I was impressed with myself actually. So I like, maybe I should be thinking of that. So it was at that moment that it became my plan. That it actually just came to my head that okay, I can do this. So I stayed with the man for like 3 years. My third year, I just went up to set up my own. So it was not something I even thought of, even when I was in med school, even when I was working, it didn't cross my mind because I was like, I don't think I have the energy. I don't think I got to complete the degree. This 8 years. I think we are doing fine.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What do you think has prepared you for this journey? Do you think your childhood, growing up, medical school, what has prepared you for this time of your life?
Yeah, I think I was lucky to have worked with two credible people in private practice. I was with Dr. Momo Sharati or those were mentors. They were not just doctors. They were teaching you the rudiments of private practice along the way. And I didn't know. So fortunately for me, when I left Oyo, I came to Badon. I went to Badon Central, Dr. Ajibola, and to a fantastic man. Working with those two men actually prepared me very well for private practice. I was so confident that I know I can't fail, because when you get to the level of MD and those institutions, just be sure that whatever you decide to do, you have to succeed, because they will leave the hospital for you to run. They will leave it for you, and that's what I brought into my own practice. It was they teach you the rudiment of autopilot. That if you are not around, the hospital should be to survive without you. And that's what I learned from them. They taught me how to delegate duties. Like when I started my private practice, one of my colleagues came from Lagos. He was so surprised that people were collecting money, and I don't know how much they collected. That's the cashier, they were collecting the money directly. He was so surprised that he has been to some hospital that even the MD one that be collecting money for patients. I say, there are things you put into place to know how you run the hospital. You should learn how to delegate. You should learn how to let people work for you. Don't micromanage people. Let people work for you. It now depends on you on what the things that you put in place to checkmate. So I can say those two men, actually meeting them at an early stage of my life in private practice, actually really, really prepared me for going solo on my own. Thank you.
Okay. So what advice will you give to somebody who is trying to take a leap into private practice?
Yeah. See, like I always tell people, when you want to go into private practice, you have to be under tutelage of somebody who has been in private practice for at least for some years. Experience, the buyer for market. So you have to be sincerely. You can't just jump into it and say because you want to do private practice. You are going to be frustrated. You're going to be frustrated because in private practice, it is you prepare yourself for the worst day. You prepare your mind for the bad day. You prepare your mind for the good day. So when it still doesn't come, you just move on. Definitely the good day are coming. So you can't just jump into private practice without going to that tutelage. You need to stay with somebody that's been in private practice. We are not taught in medical school, so you have to learn it under somebody. So if I have somebody who wants to go into private practice, like I used to tell them that you can't buy it in the market. You have to be under somebody. At least work with somebody like 2 to 3 years, and learn the rudiment of private practice. It's a different ballgame entirely. Apart from the clinical, the surgical skill you have, the management of the private practice is different entirely. It is not taught. You have to learn it under somebody.
Awesome. Good. Now tell us more about your family. Does anybody have questions for Dr. Ogunlade? Please raise your hands if you have questions for him. He said a lot about himself. Can you raise your hands, please, if you have questions for him? Thank you, AKD Sachs. Before AKD Sachs' question, where did you serve? Where did you do your service here?
Yeah, actually I serve at Edo State, precisely Uromi. I serve at Uromi. I worked there for like a year. After service, I was retained for like another 3 months, and then that was actually the game changer in my medical practice, because that was where I learned a lot. Our house job was like now we're like errand boys, especially if you do house job usage. We're like errand boys. So I was fortunate to be posted to a general hospital at Uromi, where I worked like. Unfortunately, I was under a very renowned obstetrician and gynecologist. It was a MD, so he asked me from before, "Are you ready to learn?" And I said yes. So he put me through a lot. It put me through a lot surgically. So by the time I was finishing, I was so ready. to go into the medical world. So that actually helped me when I wanted to get my job with Momo Hospital because of the surgical skill. I came top of the interview, and then that's how I started my journey in private practice.
Awesome. Okay, AKD Sachs, let's take your question. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you, doctor, for sharing all this with us. I'm very happy because anytime I see someone that was raised up in a polygamous family that can share testimony that he or she make it, I always happy. It is well, God did. So my question is that. Yes, I know. My question is that which day or what can you call your major challenge as someone that raised up in a polygamous family? That's my first question. And the second question is that thank God by the time you are introducing yourself, you hand it up by telling us that you are a Christian. Because I've been looking, okay, let's see. But by the time you said I'm Christian, because the way I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you as pastor already. But by the time, because with the physical look that I'm seeing, I was like, maybe this person will be pastor, and you can still be pastor and you have your job anyway, or maybe God can call you tomorrow anyway. So my second question is that, please, can you explain to us how did you manage yourself when it comes to your wife? How did you manage you? I don't know how to put that question, but just help me the way I can put it. How did you manage your wife with that polygamous family that you are raised up in a kind of family activities?
Okay.
Did you get my question, sir?
I got your question quite all right. Well, like you said, the first question was like my major challenge in polygamous home was I think I would just say I'm just lucky. I think I'm just like a lucky destined child to succeed in that family because if I look at my family now, I can comfortably say that God has been very nice to me. Sincerely, He has been very, very nice because being a third child and the whole responsibility is more or less like on me, despite being a third child. And then, and like I said, it just have to be God, sincerely. And then maybe my mom's prayer, sincerely, because she knew, unfortunately for her, she came from a Muslim home. But immediately she came into the family, she knew that and she needs to step up. So luckily for her, she changed, she became a Christian. And then right from our tender age, she has been showering us with prayer, has been serious one, from CAC to MFN, and that really, really helped me and my siblings, especially from my mom's side, to stand out amongst the family. So a lot of prayer and just God mercy and grace and made us to stand out. So I would say God has been very nice to us. Like at least from my mom's side, God has been very, very nice to us. Yes, like the second question was he asked about how have I been managing my wife? Well, it's a polygamous family, but people have gone their different ways now. So unfortunately, my father is late. It's about 3 years now. So there's nothing putting us all together again. The real man actually bind us together has gone. So everybody's on their own. So even though my mom has a larger children, because at least we are 9, and we are 9 from my mom's side. Others are just 3 from, is it 3? Yeah, I think 9 from my mom's side. We have a set of twins. My mom had one set of twins, so we are 9 from my mom's side. So sincerely, because it's a large family, it taught me how to accommodate. So while I was praying to get a wife, one of my prayers is, God, I want a very accommodating wife. I'm telling you, forget the beauty, forget that. I said to God, I want a very accommodating wife, because I'm from a large family. If you come to our family, you come to our house, it's always bubbling. So I need somebody that can take that, because definitely my siblings will come over, my mother will come, everybody will come over. And sincerely speaking, God gave me that type of wife. It's like she's like a special gift from God. She very, very accommodating. My wife is very accommodating. I remember when we met, my friend would tell me that if you don't marry this lady, who will curse you, because she's very, very accommodating. So my wife with my family is not a problem, because she's a very down to earth woman. She can take a lot of things from people. So I don't have issue with her, with my family.
That's a great testimony. I see some other hands up. I see Jesu Tofumi's hand up. I also see Mommy Ayeju's hand up. Jesu Tofumi, let's take your comments first, then Mommy Ayeju. Jesu Tofumi. Okay, he's written it down. He said, good evening, everyone. Please, my question is that what actually brings about separation between children in polygamous family while the children are growing up, to the extent that the children later in future start fighting each other?
Okay.
Thank you for sharing with us.
When it comes to separation, do you know that my mommy practically raised all the children? She practically raised, because the first wife left very early, very, very early, maybe when we were in primary school. And she had like 4 children. Yeah, she had like 4 children from my dad. So my mom practically raised all of us. She practically raised, except the third wife that came very late, maybe when I was in JSS, she came. So those ones, the children were very small. So we grew up as one lovely family. People didn't, because we were very small when we grew up. So we don't really know. Okay, it took me a very long time to know the first wife, because I saw my other siblings as my true sibling, not like a brother or stepsister. So we grew up to date. We are still doing very fine. It's one family that we never had a fight. But the issue started when we had the third wife. And my father has some big money, so the issue started when we had the third wife. The first wife they lived harmoniously. It was the third wife that actually brought the raised ugly head when she came. So that was when we had issues amongst ourselves. So as regards let me check the other question you asked. Okay, why family children are growing old to extend that? We never had a fight. Sincerely, I won't lie to you. Till now, we never had a fight. We never had a fight amongst ourselves. We grew up very well, but I think it was between the mothers that we had issues. Between the mothers, actually my mom and the third wife. That's when we started having issues. But with the children, up to now, we're doing fine as a family. I hope I satisfied that. I hope I satisfied that question. Answer.
I think someone's putting a comment. Chinedu is putting a comment that other than the fact that polygamy is not God's best plan, Adam and Eve, not Adam, Eve, and Evelyn. I think Mommy Ayeju had a question. Mommy Ayeju, please, can you ask your question?
Good evening.
Good evening, ma.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajibola.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm really surprised that you have such a busy schedule and you are always very active on the platform. So I'm really impressed about that. And the question I want to ask you, number one, how do you meet your wife? What are the qualities that you see in your wife that made you to choose her as one of those? Then,
yeah,
secondly,
actually, are you the man?
yes, hello?
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. Are you finished with the question, ma?
I've just said one. The second question is, how are you able to with your wife and your work?
Okay.
In private practice.
Yeah.
Because I know so many of your lecturers who are afraid to go into private practice because of the way to consume all the time. So,
can you hear me?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to know how you are able to cope with your family, with the work, and even with on the platform.
Okay. Your first question, how do I miss my wife? Actually, I always like to tell people about my wife, how I met her. It's actually a very wonderful experience. Well, I was my final year. She came to use it for a midweek free. We were attending the same church. And at that point in time, I had two other ladies before that were already friends, and I knew that, okay, I most likely I'm going to develop interest in this lady, but there are two other ladies. So while I was preparing for my finals, I remember at UCH car park, as I was praying for the exam to pass, I was also praying to God that, God, among these three girls, which one of them is actually my wife? And then to make it worse, the three ladies were very amiable. We were all attending the same church. So I prayed, sincerely I prayed, and then like I told God, I want somebody that is very accommodating and somebody that is very open and very loyal. That will be able to tell me about things that most ladies won't share. She was, when I made my intention notes, when she was able to tell me something that, do I want to really go ahead with her? That no, this is her background. My wife is from she's a Christian. She's from a family where they practice Ogboni, where Ifa priest. Her father is Ifa priest up to this moment. She was able to tell me that. And secondly, she told me about some things that most ladies definitely will hide from me. She told me, and at that point I knew, yes, God, this is the kind of lady I want. And she was able to tell me that after hearing all this, do I still want to go ahead? And I said yes, because I told God, I want somebody of this nature. And then that's how it becomes how will I put it? And the other qualities that she finished before me, she was already working, and then just like she had other better suitors in terms of those in working class. I was a student. My wife, she works in Lagos. She comes when she was sick. She will come to Badon, bring stuff for me, and then sometimes she send recharge card to me on phone. I was like, what kind of lady is this? I know most time ladies don't do such things because they will see it as they don't know what the man is up to. Why should I be spending my money? Because she was working, she was giving me, I remember that she was giving 5,000 every month. She would send it to me. Well, at that point, I knew that, man, I don't enter this one, so I must marry this lady. So even my friends then too knew that no, I don't have a choice. I have to marry this. Because she satisfied those wonderful qualities I told God about. And there was this peace, when you have someone that you just felt that it was easy for me because I prayed to God and was able to tell me, okay, this is the person. And because those qualities I mentioned were very, very real. I can see it in her. And that's how I met my wife. Mommy, your second question says, how do I cook? When I started private practice, my own was not fun. For good 4 or 5 years, I didn't sleep on my bed. I didn't sleep on my bed for good 4 to 5 years before I actually, I was practically sleeping in the hospital because the doctor I had then, I can't really align because to handle some of the cases, especially the surgical aspects. And because it was very difficult for me to move in the middle of the night, I decided to sleep in the hospital for good 4 years. And then luckily for me, I married a nurse. Let me just say that. So she understands the nature of the job. So she took it very well. She didn't even complain. And then we moved on. As I was speaking to you now, she has been in the UK since early this year. And with the children, though I had to employ some support staff at home to really help when she left. So I think with that, I've been able to cope very well, even when she's not around. I've been coping creditably well. I hope I am.
For grace. Thank God for the grace of God.
Yes, so.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Do we have more questions for Dr. Ogunlade? Let's give him some more questions. Some people have been too silent. Don't let the seat be too cool for him. It's supposed to be a hot seat. And he has handled everything very well. AKD Sachs, you have another question. Go ahead.
Yeah, yes, sir. In fact, I really enjoy our speaker today. In fact, as the way he sits down, he has ready for us tonight. Beyond expectation. Okay. My question is that, what is your role in church? Or are you just going to church? What is your role? Do you have any
my role?
role?
I'm the head of the ushering department in my church.
Wow.
So it's amazing that he can combine so many things at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. How are you managing with church and work?
I have a question.
Okay, Dr. Olorunfemi, go ahead. Chinedu, I've noted your question. Go ahead.
Ajibola, when are you moving? Or are you willing to move? Looking at the sacrifice you have made to get where you are.
Did you get the question?
No, I didn't get it.
Looking at what you have done, look at the sacrifice you have made to get to where you are right now. Are you willing to move or are you ready to move? And when, if you are ready to?
Yeah. That has been one of the great, one of the questions. I think somebody has that question, one of the challenge. And that's been, we've been on it for almost 5 years now. My wife has already wanted to move and she wanted us to move together and said, no, I put so much in this practice, I don't think I'm ready to leave. So after so many years, my wife being the rude type, he doesn't want to leave my husband. So it got to a point where she got fed up and said, okay, I think I'm going to move. And I told her, if you're going to move, fine. The children will join. Definitely, I will definitely not going to move with you. I'm going to be shortly in Nigeria. and wherever you move to. She felt that maybe if I come over, I might change my mind. I said, no, if I come over, I'm not going to change my mind. I made her know. It has been the last, this year has been a very trying time for me and in my family. Saying it's not funny because we've always been together for so many years. So going to UK this year and I'm left with the children here alone has been a very difficult time in my life. At the point I felt that are we sure we're making the right decision? Because it's not fun. It's not fun. At the point I even felt that, Madam, if you finish your master program, I think you need to come back to Nigeria. We got to that point. I said, no, you have to come back. But after I look at all the pros and cons, I said, okay, fine, we stay back. For the sake of the children, fine, move. But sincerely, it's been a very difficult and very tough decision to make. Sincerely, very difficult.
Okay. I have to ask question because I know many people in that same shoe right now, asking themselves what next.
I'm telling you.
And I know people that have also moved that are asking themselves why did I move? Because basically like starting afresh for them. And starting afresh for somebody at this stage.
It's not easy. I thought about those. It's not easy. Sincerely. Temi knows. We've been having a lot of discussion on that too, because starting afresh has been my fear. I don't think I have that mental strength to want to start afresh. Sincerely, I don't think I'm prepared mentally for that.
I think there are plenty of us in the same shoes.
So Charles Gigi is asking you a question. He says, how do you deal with the absence of your wife as a man? And what is your long-term plan, particularly as it concerns the absence of a father figure with your children in a foreign land?
Could I just, if you don't mind, good evening, everyone. As you spoke more, your kids are with you, sir. Is that right?
Yes.
So now that question will be, the part B of that question will be dealing with the absence of their mother as they grow up. And I don't know how old your children are. How old is your oldest one?
Okay, the oldest child is going to be 13 this year. Then the next one is 11. Then the next one is 8 this month too. As a man, coping, sincerely, it was one of those questions, one of those things I thought of too. She has that question: how are we going to cope as a husband and wife? And I said, with God on our side, we'll pull it through. And I'm telling you, it's very difficult, but it's about 6 months since she left. To God be the glory. At least I've been able to remain faithful to my wife, and then it's not been very easy, but sincerely, I'm proud of myself because I said it to myself, wow, 6 months, and I'm still standing. To God be the glory. So, and then coping in their absence, the children coping in their absence. I thank God. What is a digital world? My wife is a very spiritual woman, and says that she's very, very spiritual, very, very spiritual. She's been able to raise the children in a very godly way from the very early stage of life. And that was not difficult for me too, because she has actually been the one doing that more sincerely. I won't lie to you. So I was so scared when she was leaving that. How am I going to be able to sustain this aspect? But because the world is a digital world now, so it's very easy. They do video call, give them Bible codes to memorize, and we do a family discussion on that once in a week or once in 2 weeks. We do that. And that's really the helping. So, and it's one of the reasons I want them to leave, to go and meet her. And like other question you asked, father figure has been, I've been speaking to people about it. I've been speaking to people. Like I said earlier on, I was thinking that I might not make the wrong decision, because I felt that at this stage, they will need me more, sincerely as a father. Like if I wanted to be spending like 3 months or 6 months every year in UK, would that be enough? I've been asking myself those questions. Sincerely, we are still in the process. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Just like my wife said, who knows? I might decide just to change my mind and stay back with the family, but I'm not thinking of that presently. But if I look at the pros and cons at the end of the day, for the sake of the children, for the fatherly figure, who knows? I might change my mind later. I hope I've been able to answer the question.
Yes, you're doing very well. Eniola is asking you a question. She says, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Doc, for letting us into your family life and person. I commend you for holding 40 in the home front and the children while your wife is away. I hope you are not planning to move overseas, considering the sacrifices you have made thus far to get to where you are. So as I think you've already answered that question, God will lead you into what you need to do next. Amen.
Yes.
Do not be confused, and your children will be great with their peace. They will be taught of the Lord. I think children nowadays need God wherever they are, whether they are in Nigeria or overseas.
Yes.
Just really the help. It's a very fast-paced world we live in, unlike the ones we grew up in. Mommy Ayejo, do you still want to say something? Your hand was up initially.
I've written it in the comment.
Okay. All right. She said God will help you make the right decision.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Do we have some more questions for Dr. Ogunlade? Any other pressing questions? Okay. So what is your advice to the singles?
Yeah. My advice to the single. Okay. And of course, no doubt, you need God. Sincerely, you need God in everything you do. Praying, asking God for direction, it goes a long way. Sincerely, while I was praying for my wife, I was scared to let my parent knew that, okay, my wife is from this family. But I pray to God. I pray to Him to reveal to my parents where I'm getting my wife from. And on the day of our introduction and engagement, a night before that, I was so scared I couldn't sleep. My mother suspected us and suspected her on his and me. I said, what is the problem? And I told her, this is this. Where am I getting my wife from? I'm far priest too. And my wife said, thank God for the Holy Spirit. She knew there's something wrong. I got told him that where I'm marrying for, that we should not bother about it. That it's a good family, but this is what the family practice. So that alone gave me assurance that everything I need to do, I need to let God know. Sincerely, I need to let God know. For pray, there is no how to wait to pray. Have your agenda, have a list of things you really want in your partner. I'm telling you, most times God always answers that prayer. And you will know there's this inner peace that comes with when you choose the right partner. It's very, very, very easy. Once you get the right partner, you will always know. You always know. So to me, that has been my backbone. For everything I do, it has been God first. I have to pray to God about it. So for every single that wants to go into any relationship, to just pray for God leading. Don't just do it doesn't work, doesn't make sense. So just pray to God. While I was in med school, I didn't have anything to do with it. I just pray to God towards my final year. And God just answer my prayer like that.
What is your message for those that have gone through heartbreak? What
I would not say that they should try again. Sincerely, God always give you that other chance, second chance. If you are going to heartbreak, I've seen people who had heartbreak and at the age of 40, 50, God gave them a second chance and they're fine now. So you can always give that try again because most people that have heartbreak don't want to try it again. Most times they don't want to try again. So always give that thought of second chance. And like I said, and just pray for God leads you. And most times it will work out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I don't know whether anyone has a question. You can still raise your hands. What would you say to the married people? How long have you been married? What would you say to the married people?
Okay, I've been married for 14 years now.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is my 14th year. I'm married for 14 years now. Understanding, you know, I'm a man that I believe, you know, because I married a wife who's very, very intelligent, and I always seek for opinion in most things. And most times, my wife just hold on to my hand and pray. And most times, God's our advice is always top notch. So it's not that your wife is one directing you, you know, like people will say. But for me, as a man, I found that very special gift in my wife. That, you know, when I'm having issues, God has given us such gifts to just lead us on most times. So if you're married, just because you're a man, you're safe. You'll always be on top. No, but it doesn't work that way most times. It doesn't work most times. The house we built, my wife bought the land. She bought the land. I know family who quarreled over that because the wife bought the land behind them. They didn't tell them they're not going to build the house. She bought the land, she did the foundation, and she showed me. And we finished everything. You know, as a man, that ego needs to come down. And once you are like that, most times things worked out very well. Worked out if you're able to subdue that ego in you as a man. Most times, you will always be at peace with your wife. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with us. It's been a great time listening to you. Thank you for your time. I know you are a very busy person and you've told me your time was going to be tight tonight. So really appreciate you and we trust that God will help you make all the decisions you need to. I think one last hand has gone up. Chinedum's hand.
Yes, so my hand went up because of this last comment you just made, Doc. So your wife already bought the property, started what's it called? Started foundation without having a conversation with you, and you were not offended.
Yeah. Yes, I was not offended.
Wow. Can you let us into your mind a little? Why were you not offended? Because, and I ask this because I know that this is a big deal in Nigeria. For homes, that's the end of the home, right? So what is it about how your mind works that made it that you were not offended?
What actually happened is that I had to put 2 plots of land in a choice in a place that was very okay, but due to some powerful people, that land was taken from me. So I just made up my mind. I don't want to have anything to do with the land. For so many years, my wife would beg me, "Dear, let's buy land now. Let's buy land." I said, "No, I'm not interested now until I have that money to buy my land and I'll start the house instantly." And then she just felt okay, she will do that. She didn't tell me. With one of our pastors, she bought the land. She started the foundation. I think it was the day they started the foundation. She told me about that. She's taking it to a place. And I saw it. I was like, wow. I saw the plan. I was like, this woman, she wants us to build us. Okay, we'll start. So I didn't really feel bad. Not that I can't do it, but I just felt at that point that because of what happened, previous experience, I didn't want to go into that again until I want at least I can get a good place for myself. And I said that once I buy the land, the next day I'm starting because of my bad experience. So when she started, and then I didn't see that as a big deal. I didn't see it as a big deal.
That's awesome. There's a Yoruba proverb that says, the man saw the snake, the woman killed it. It's just that the snake should die. That's the main thing. Yeah. So that's really good. I think Charles Gigi has his hands up. Dr. Gigi, let's hear you. Yeah.
You know, I like to be a troublemaker from time to time. My brother, I commend you to look for the trouble of the ladies. I would say, right, that my brother here has identified that the wife is not a threat. He feels comfortable in her. He's secure. He knows the kind of woman he married. That's why if she went on to, buy the land, start the foundation, even if she completed the building, he's not fazed because he's comfortable in who he is and in the woman he married, knowing that what she will do is for their good. I would just use myself as an example. When we're fortunate to get some pieces of land, the title deed is in my wife's name. I'm not interested in my name being on it. As far as I'm concerned, I don't own the land. The land is in her name. It is our land, but it is in her name because of our culture. So that's protection for the woman. That kind of woman will look around and say, there's nothing that my husband has that he keeps as his own. It is my own. So it's going to be reciprocal. There's nothing like, oh, it is my own or it's my husband's own, or we are one. Our families, her family, my family are now external to us. We come first as the nucleus, and we deal with ourselves first as a unit without any preference for my family or her family. So we just need to get to that point where indeed, if we are Christians, then let us follow the mind of Christ. My brother, I commend you. You will live long and you will enjoy your family, your children, your wife. God bless you, sir.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Dr. Ajibola Ogunlade. Wonderful to have you on Meet and Greet. God bless you. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining us tonight. It's really good to see some old faces that haven't been here in a while. Shout out to all of you. Love you all. Hope to see all of you in our subsequent meetings. Forgive my raspy voice. Next week is our Meet and Pray. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with other people. I think there's a lot to learn in it for everybody. There's something to learn, something to pick up, whether you're a medical or you're a non-medical professional. There's a lot to learn about mentorship, about family life. There's a lot to glean from our discussion tonight. God bless you. Amen. So as we round up, we'll say our motto. We can unmute ourselves and say our motto together. I live in love.
I live in love.
I stay in peace. I shine my light.
I shine my light.
I use my power.
I use my power.
So help me God.
Help me God.